Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Hi, I'm Mandy.
And I'm Avery.
And you're listening to Thick Thighs and Creepy Vibes podcast,
where we travel through Canada exploring all things eerie, creepy, and haunting.
And true crime related that you may or may not have known about the true north we call home.
Some of our content may be more disturbing than you're used to, but each episode will give a trigger warning on the type of content we will be discussing.
So please use discretion when listening.
Please join us every Wednesday for regular episode content,
as well as Sundays for an episode of our Sunday Scaries.
Happy listening.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Catherine.
And I'm Haley.
And we are Saturdays Are for the Ghouls, a podcast on the Podmoth Network. We cover all things spooky, like horror movies, true crime, the supernatural, and spooky stories, in the most chaotic way possible. So join your favorite ghoul friends every Saturday wherever you listen to podcasts and become a spooky babe. So spooky babes, we'll see you in your nightmares.
This is awful when it's warm, but it's delicious. It's my PC brand pineapple coconut sparkling water. Because I had a THC drink, and then I was like,
we don't need a 2003 incident all over again.
2000? No. Okay. So, you know how I kept saying Remembrance Day on the last episode? So, when it was Remembrance Day on Monday, that worked. And Mike goes, he's like, I died. I was like, yeah, guys, it's Novembrance Day. And Mike's like, I said that this morning to my wife. And she was like, you mean Remembrance Day? He goes, yeah. He's like, every time I said it, I'd laugh. He's like, Miranda said it. And I just found it so funny.
Anyways, we're back. We back again.
We're always, it's a Wednesday. And I quickly want to give a big shout out to our friends over at Mysterious Pacific Northwest Podcast. They took one of our episodes, and they've got a week off at the end of November for Thanksgiving. So they're going to be sharing one of our episodes with their listeners, and we'll also be getting their trailer and sharing them with you guys also. So go check them out. Go give them a follow. Go give them some stars. And go listen to their episodes because they're fun ladies.
Fun stuff.
They're funny. Like us.
Because we're hilarious.
We're hilarious. And then I was going to say something else, and I forgot what else I was going to say. I got distracted. But yeah, we're excited for that. And we're excited for them to have a week off because who doesn't want a week off? And especially when you're American, you got Thanksgiving, you got Black Friday, and you're just going to hang out, eat some turkey, and go shopping. We already had our Thanksgiving. But you know what? I'm going to be having a great time, too, for Thanksgiving and Black Friday because I'm away from my work retreat, which means I'm going to be enjoying a hot tub and a sauna and a pool and food made by a personal chef.
Did you guys end up finding a personal chef?
Yeah. Everything's all booked, man. The whole itinerary's been set. I had to pick my bottle of wine.
Ooh.
So I had a task. Everyone gets to pick a bottle of wine. It gave us like a budget to pick. I've never drank a bottle of wine this expensive. So yes. That's the only time I have is for work. But I picked a bottle of wine. I was like, I don't know. I'm not a wine connoisseur. Like, tell us why you picked this wine. Why do you like this wine? So what does a researcher in me do? I'm like, I was like, okay, what can we find that's here that they can go pick up? And I was like, well, how am I supposed to pick a wine? I was like, I don't want to pick a wine based on its name or its label. I'm like, that's boring. I don't like that. I'm like, because I like red wine. I mean, that's mainly what I was thinking.
Sorry if you don't.
So, I know, it's delicious. So I decided to do a little bit of research. I'm like, what are some top vineyards around Canada? What about the US? Then I started to go through the LCBO to see what they had. And I went through their different ones. And I was like, I like Argentino wine. I like a good Chilean wine. I like, I don't mind an Italian wine. I'm like, but I don't drink Australian wine. So I was like, let me look up, see what they have for Australian wines. I'm like, I would love to always go to, like, me and April are planning when we're 50, 55, we're going to go to Australia. One better live there by then. So we're going to take a little trip when we're old biddies. But I was like, you know what would be even cooler? What are haunted vineyards and wineries? So I decided to look that up. And I was like, okay, I did find a wine called Murder Ridge. I think it's Murder Ridge Winery. Because an actual axe murder happened on this winery. Except you can't, it's in Napa Valley in California. Except you can't get that wine here. Of course you can't. Not in Ontario. So I was like, fine. So then I stumbled across, it's like the top 10 most haunted wineries. So I went in and I was looking. And they had a lot of like Italian vineyards and stuff. And the one was Australian. And I was like, boom. And it's got a bunch of paranormal activity happening in it. So that's why I chose that wine, because, I mean, why the hell not? And it had a cool story to go with it. I really wanted the murder one.
That one would have been really cool.
But that's okay. That means I have to, like, plan a trip. Maybe find it in the States when I go to Pittsburgh. Whoop.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
But yeah, so that was fun. So anyways, now my whole focus is, you know what? I'm going to pick wine.
Based off of murders.
And ghosts. That's how I'm going to pick my wine and my beers.
That's pretty cool, though.
Any sort of alcohol. Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's fun. Anyways, that was my story.
Nito.
Randomly, just, ramble on. So, what do you have now? What are you playing with now?
I can't sit still. I'm sorry.
I know. You need a little spinner or fidget thingy.
It's like a scoring tool for my cricket. Anyways.
They're just there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that.
Good scratcher. And I'm going to really need to scratch my head during this one, because this is. It's not a cool one.
Not a cool one. They're never cool. Only if they're haunted,
this
they're
one's
cool.
Not cool. Let me tell you that it was one of those cases that I'm like, oh, I fucking don't want to do it. But I'm like, nope, gotta do it. When I actually started doing it, my fingers were flying on the keyboard because I just like wanted to keep knowing more. So,
see, I like that. That's when you know you picked a good one to go through. Alrighty, well, you have the floor.
So, the mic.
Or the mic, should I say?
The mic.
Take it away. You got
Before
the mic.
I get too far into the story, I do just want to give like another trigger warning. I know we have like our overall one at the beginning that we throw in, but this one fucking sucks. Okay? So like, I am sorry. It just sucks. We're going to be covering some pretty big sensitive topics in this one. And just, I want to throw another warning on there. So we're going to be talking about transphobia, hate crime, death, and sexual assault. Okay? Please, 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 please make sure that no matter what, when, where, anything, that when you are listening to this case, you're finding something for yourself. Okay? One other thing I do want to bring attention to, just because it's going to kind of tie together as I go through the story, but since this crime occurred, the perpetrator has changed their gender identity in the more recent years. At the time of this case, they did identify as a male using he, him pronouns, but court documents recently have referred to this killer using she, her pronouns. So while speaking about the perpetrator and the murder, at the time, I will be using he, him pronouns, and then I will evolve as it kind of comes up throughout the court cases. This is important. I obviously still want to respect the people involved. So it is important to say that at the time he identified as a man, but no longer does. And then, like I said, it'll kind of click all together. So, getting into it. This takes place in North Vancouver, British Columbia in 2003. For reals, 2003.
Oh, for reals, 2003. All right.
The morning of May 31st, employees of a dry cleaning business got to work ready to start their busy day when they noticed a shopping cart full of sheets abandoned in an alleyway out back. They were a little bit confused, but not alarmed by this. They just assumed that someone tried to drop off the sheets for cleaning and then just didn't want to wait around, so they just kind of left them there. As they got closer, they noticed it was sheets, but it was a mattress protector wrapped around something. As they began unwrapping the mattress protector, they realized that whatever was wrapped up wasn't good, and they started to uncover a bunch of plastic bags. Now, again, they see that this isn't good. They stop and they call the police. They're like, okay, sus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, God, don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
Don't go any further.
This large object, covered in plastic bags, then wrapped in a mattress protector, started to look a lot like a human body. After police arrived and unraveled the bags, they discovered the body of a transgender woman, Shelby Tracy Tom, who had been reported missing by friends 4 days prior to this discovery. Her friends quickly reported her missing after no one had seen or heard from her. At this point, they realized that she probably died the same day she went missing. Sadly, the body was already going through the stage of decomposition. This is really interesting. Where's her body been? It's been 4 days. What the hell's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
May.
And it was May, right?
Yep, May 31st. And I do just want to state, I do throw in there that she is transgender because the case is just around that, okay? Don't think I'm just like throwing in there just to have a random piece of information. It is very connected.
Right. So she's transgender and then the killer
later.
is also.
Yes. In 2003.
Later. Okay, got it.
Just Shelby was.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the autopsy was completed, it was confirmed that Shelby's cause of death was strangulation. Family and friends were quickly interviewed, and nobody could believe she was murdered. Nobody could believe someone could hate her in any kind of way. Shelby was a sweet and genuine person and didn't have any enemies. But there was one thing that stood out to police. Shelby Tom was a rather sought-out sex worker in the North Vancouver area. So their theory right away was maybe that a client could have done this, like a little transaction gone bad. Client.
Looking for a John somewhere.
Before we get into her death, let's go over exactly who Shelby Tracy Tom is. She had just completed her history degree and was eager to become a social worker. It was her dream to help people. She wanted to put her focus on supporting transgender people, especially transgender children. She recognized that at the time that she is lucky to have a family that supported her. During this time, even today, there are many faced with rejection and criticism from their so-called loved ones. Shelby wanted to create a safe space for those who needed it. She knew that sex work wasn't going to be forever, but she had found a way to use it to fund her future, as it had fully supported her throughout her education. She seemed to be quite the little sweetheart, making more questions on who the hell could have done this to her.
Right?
Now we're going to get into the not fun night. We're going to jump.
So how old was Shelby?
Shelby was... Let me just fact check because I forgot to write it down.
Because if she's going to school. She's history major. Is that what you said?
Yep, just recently graduated.
Gotta be in her 20s. Gotta be in her early 20s then.
No.
It's so sad.
She was like 39, 40. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're never too old.
No, never, exactly.
To find a new path in life. Ever.
So yeah, she's like around there. So we're going to jump back 4 days to May 27th, 2003. The night Shelby Tracy Tom was last seen. My goodness. For her, it was just another night of work. She headed for a local club called the Penthouse, which was basically a strip joint. It was a well-known spot for people to pick up sex workers. So basically, it was just like a big joint full of horny dudes trying to pick up sex workers all night. Whenever Shelby was picking up clients, she would go by the name of Tracy, but I'll just keep referring to her as Shelby throughout the story. That night, she'd been approached by a man named Jatin Patel. Now, quick overview of this guy.
Okay.
Jatin.
Scumbag? Yes.
So, listen to this. So, Jatin had just recently returned to Canada after spending some time living in the U.S., but you can more say that he was just deported back to Canada. In fact, he was deported back that exact same day, May 27th.
No.
Yeah. He had completed a jail sentence, something that he was very used to at this point. He wasn't a violent criminal, but he did spend some time in lockup for things like theft, burglary, and forgery. And I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. I just think that's how it's said. I might be wrong. So I apologize. Anyway, they had a couple drinks, started chit-chatting, got to know each other a little bit. Shelby then informs him that she is a sex worker, and if he wishes to, he could pay for her services, which at the time were about $400 for the night. He jumped at the idea.
And clearly he has... How does he have money? He just came out of jail.
I don't know. Family?
He's like commissary. I don't know. What do you...
Maybe. He's like, I just spent the last blah, blah, blah in lockup. My family paid me the whole time. Not too sure.
Yeah, probably.
But he jumped at the idea. His hotel was just a little bit out of town, though, which is something Shelby normally didn't do, was leave the city with a client. At this night, though, he was willing to pay extra for her to come back to his hotel room. Shelby agreed, and they left the penthouse and traveled to room 214 at the Lionsgate Travel Lodge. This would be the last time Shelby was seen alive. When they got back to the hotel, they completed their transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine and well during. But after, Patel asked if he could perform oral sex on her. This is where it turns. He noticed some scarring around Shelby's genitalia. He quickly concluded that this was from gender-confirming surgery. His immediate reaction to finding out the woman he had just been intimate with was transgender was just complete rage. Like nothing else. Just saw red. Like, dude was just big mad.
Yeah.
He felt lied to, deceived, and like the world was against him. He felt like this was something she had to disclose to him before engaging in sexual acts. But how stupid is this? Like, how stupid is it, really? Like, dude paid $400, bought her drinks, chatted her up, got some post-nut clarity, whatever.
Yeah.
And then now it matters? Like, you already had sex. It's done. Like, you can't take it back. So, I don't get it.
And also, you went to a place where, I'm sorry, there is no return policy. Like, there is no refund. You don't have to be like, hey, I have to disclose to you my sexuality. No, you don't. If now you've had surgery, that is what your sexuality now is.
Why?
If he's not worried about that, he's not asking. You got what you wanted. What's
like, nobody is going to openly come out and be like, yeah, I was this gender and now I'm this. No, they just identify as the gender. She identified as a woman.
Yeah.
Who cares what happened before?
Mm-hmm. You're identified as a little bitch right now. Like, ain't nobody
That's
like
really funny, actually.
I don't think I'm mad about that.
But
like, what the fuck? You didn't disclose you were in jail.
Probably not. What kind of opening sentence is that? Hey, I just got back to Canada. I was deported because I did some time locked up in the States. Like, no. So you can't expect a woman to sit there and disclose her entire life to you. No.
People don't announce when they're pedophiles. They don't know when they're rapists. You know, it's the same thing. She's like, this is my job. This is what you offered me. You wanted me to come back. You clearly felt a connection.
You paid for it. Don't buy an apple if you don't want an apple.
Yep.
Don't pay for sex if you're going to be pissed off afterwards. Anyway. Patel had become so outraged that he just turned to violence. Shelby was still laying on the bed. So Patel saw the opportunity to jump on her and hold her down. He wrapped his hands around her throat and strangled her to death. Not only did he just strangle her, he put so much force behind it that he crushed her windpipe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So his ego was so shot after learning this that he just actually murdered Shelby over it. Like, flipped and murdered her.
That
it was horribly senseless, obviously.
Yeah. That's so sad that she went with him because she's like, I
Exactly.
typically don't do this. And the one time she's like, okay, like he offered her more money.
I'm sure he didn't plan for his small criminal record to turn into murder in the span of a night, but here we are.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say his small dick to like, when you said small, all I could think
Small
of was like,
criminal record.
small dick energy.
But basically.
No Zach Bryan's
Oh my
allowed,
God.
okay? Like, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Since it was an outrage and quickly brought upon, what is he going to do now? He has this poor girl's lifeless body just laying on the bed. Well, like any other senseless thing to do, let's pick her up, shove her in the hotel closet, and close the door. Right? Totally makes sense.
I mean, yeah, your name's not in that room at all. Sure.
And then instead of attempting to be remorseful and kind-hearted after you murdered somebody, so I know like you can't really do that, he threw the do not disturb sign on the door and left the room. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Like how? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But
no wonder the US didn't want him. None of us wanted him.
But instead of like checking out, whatever, do you know what he did? Take a guess. What would this man do?
Go have a cigarette?
No.
Go back to the penthouse and complain? I don't know. No?
Yes.
What did he do?
He was about to go back to the penthouse. He's like, you know what? I need another round. I'm in like full of adrenaline. I need to go back. I need to let loose. So
spend some more money on someone.
Instead, he got sidetracked and ended up meeting a woman just outside of the hotel. This woman, Kara Martin, was also a sex worker. They began chatting it up. And she proposed a little nice proposition. You pay me, I'll sleep with you, okay? He agreed. He gave her $100, told her to go pick up some cocaine for them, and then meet me back here in the hotel lobby. So she returned a little bit later, and that's when he led her up to the hotel room that he had just killed Shelby in.
Oh my God.
They proceeded to have sex on the same bed that he and Shelby just did, next to the closet that housed Shelby's squished up body that he was alive less than an hour ago.
That is, did you not hear the demon come out of my throat? Like that was.
This is all.
This poor woman.
This is all without Kara knowing yet. After Patel went to the bathroom to freshen up, Kara started to get boredom browsing throughout the room.
Well, they're all jacked up on coke. Of course, I'd be the same way. I'd be like,
So
what are
she
I going to do
opened the
now?
closet and found Shelby's body laying there. I think in that situation, obviously I've never been in this situation. No. But I would think like I would scream, cry, run. Maybe. But Kara must have felt like if she were to do that, she would be the next target. Which in that situation might have been the thing to like save her. Because you don't know this man. You don't know what he's capable of. All you see is a dead body laying here. You're like, oh shit.
What if he, because you don't know. He's going to be like, well, this bitch is going to tell on me.
Yeah. So instead of running and screaming and getting the hell out of there, she remained nice and calm. And when he left the bathroom, she just began questioning him. Oddly enough, Patel also remained very calm and even explained everything to Kara. Right from like picking Shelby up at the penthouse to how he killed her. Probably still frightened, Kara just began to validate him, saying that it was just an accident, that he didn't mean to do it. He even went on to say that he didn't know what to do with her body, and he pondered if he should dismember her, scatter her remains, throw her body in the ocean, or burn her on a huge bonfire. Kara said all of those ideas were horrible, and that he needed to think about her family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
When Kara felt like she had talked him down enough, she got the fuck out of there. And for that, I don't blame her.
Well, yeah.
But she didn't report anything to the police. Keep in mind, it's a shame, but she is a sex worker. She was on drugs. She had just bought the drugs for him. But still,
She probably has a lot of things that she just doesn't need to deal with.
Not going to the
herself, right?
police, like not very girl's girl, but
She could have been anonymous.
that's what I thought. I don't know. It would have just been obviously.
Isn't Crime Stoppers anonymous?
It's true. But also, like, she didn't know his name, right? Like, she just met him. Like,
oh, shit. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
He could have told her anything.
So, obviously, it would have been easier if she just ran to the police, but that wasn't the case. For 3 entire days, Patel stayed in that hotel room with Shelby's body shoved into the closet. Obviously, as the days went on, body starts to decompose, and the room began producing a horrid smell. This is when he knew he had to get rid of the body. The night of May 30th, he wrapped Shelby's body and started out to the alley, waiting until the middle of the night so he didn't stand out to people walking by. Not sure exactly where he got the cart from, but he must have found it along his way, and he was like, well, this is easier now. I'm going to use the cart as the mode of transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Although police didn't have any further surveillance footage of the alley or surrounding areas, they had a pretty quick investigation. The mattress protector used to wrap Shelby's body was branded with the Travel Lodge logo onto it. So they drove the short 10 minutes to the hotel and they started questioning staff. A staff member had actually seen Shelby enter the hotel room with a male guest. When they figured out it was Patel, they headed to the room that he was still staying in to find him sitting on the bed.
Oh my God.
Only the bed was the only bed in the entire hotel without a mattress protector. Of course. Patel was arrested and taken into the station for questioning. He wasn't cooperative at all during this process.
Well, I figured he wouldn't be. I mean, how many times have you been interviewed, but how many times have you gone to jail? I mean, all the signs are pointing straight to you.
Like, just say it.
Fess up, man.
Just say it.
You got your rocks off twice.
Yeah.
Just go back to jail. Okay?
Keep in mind, this is also like still his first week in Canada, back in Canada.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Like,
but like, doesn't he have a probation officer? If he's like been released, he's back in Canada. He's got to have somebody he's supposed to report to.
I don't know. They didn't bring it up at all. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends.
So yeah, he wasn't cooperative at all during this. He tried to come up with absolutely anything he could. The best one being that the missing mattress protector was just a little coinky-dink.
You say he peed the bed, so he got rid of it?
He's like, oh, that's weird. No, must have been another one. Like, no, bro, no. The police knew that he wasn't going to give it up in questioning, so they threw him in a cell with another quote-unquote inmate. But that inmate was actually just an undercover officer. Patel made a point of calling the Canadian prisons a joke, since he's experienced both for petty crimes. But he didn't seem too worried about returning to prison. He truly believes he wouldn't get caught. Until they pulled him for another interview. And for whatever reason, Patel grew a heart and chose to come clean about everything. He started from the very beginning and unloaded it all. Even saying that he got so mad he strangled her with his bare hands when he found out she was transgender.
It's so
it's
sad.
Horribly sad. But it gets fucked up. Like, even more fucked up.
More fucked up? This is already fucked up.
When the trial began, the prosecution said that it was a hate crime. But Patel's defense rejected this argument.
Yeah.
Even though he had straight up said, yeah, I did it because XYZ. Yeah.
It is a hate crime.
It was honestly a stupid argument. Like,
what the fuck?
He couldn't have known to go to the place to specifically find her, plan it all out. Like, no. I don't know how the lawyers came up with some of the stuff, and it really baffles me. But, like, straight up, he just killed her because she was transgender. Hate crime. That's it. That's a hate crime.
That's a hate crime. Yes, I understand. He didn't specifically seek her out to bring her back.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't
deliciously do those things to her. But he brought her back and then found out and then said, are you fucking kidding me?
Still a hate crime.
Because he killed her. It's not like he killed her because she was a prostitute. And he was like, this is what I like to do. is bring prostitutes back
No.
and kill them.
This was rage. But the lawyers luckily could come up with this kind of stuff and make these arguments.
I don't know. Fuck. I couldn't be a defense lawyer. There's no way.
But it was
Not for
also
people
at
like
this
that.
time, so think early 2000s, 2003. There weren't many
Yeah.
laws that included gender identity-based attacks as hate crimes. At this time, they could not fully class Shelby's murder as a hate crime because there were no official laws. But they came up with a bunch of stuff like him being sexually assaulted in prison as a trigger for how he felt betrayed with Shelby. And like just a bunch of other stuff that like they
That's all
just tried to
bullshit.
justify his betrayal. And like he had I don't want to say he had a right to do it because obviously no, but they tried to justify so many
No one
different
has.
reasons as to why he did it.
Which is all still bullshit because at the end of the day,
Exactly.
she's dead because of him. He killed her. Like, I've been betrayed. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out and kill somebody.
Find
Does
me a
that make
person
that
who's
right?
never been betrayed and has no, you're betrayed. Everyone goes through it. You don't kill because of it. Easy.
No. Like my mother always said, two
Exactly.
wrongs don't make a right.
Boom.
Right?
In the end, mic drop. In the end, they used his history of mental illness to get his charges dropped from a second-degree murder to manslaughter.
Are you fucking
Anger,
kidding
right?
me?
So keep in mind, manslaughter's definition is literally homicide committed without the intention of causing death. So, you think that Patel wasn't trying to kill Shelby while his hands were around her throat, crushing her windpipe? I'm sorry, what? Like, Canada.
He was
Come on.
mad. And
Like, the court system was fucked then.
He was
and
mad.
It's still
Okay.
fucked now.
It's still fucked. So even if her transgender, that whole idea of it wasn't involved in it, it was just like, oh, he had sex with her and he got mad about something and killed her. He still killed her out of rage because it was geared towards targeting her as a person. Yes, I get it's not hate, but it's also not, oops,
It's not an accident.
It wasn't an accident.
No.
He purposely took out his anger on her. That just
Fuck, right?
fucking Canada.
It's so fucked.
Like, how did he come back, first of all, from the States? Was his time up? Should have he just been sent back into the jail? Like, I guess because we have to pay for him.
They were
but-
like, well, you're done in jail. You're not allowed to be in the States anymore. Go back to Canada.
Because
No.
he's not a U.S. citizen. Yeah.
So, when I thought that I was coming to the end of the fuckery that this case brought, kept going. Okay? So, he pleaded...
Oh, no. Oh, right. Because there's this whole...
We're not
Okay.
We're not even there yet.
Okay.
So, he pleaded guilty to the manslaughter charge and was sentenced to...
Mm-hmm.
He was sent... Oh, fuck. He was sentenced
I don't even want to...
9 years in prison. 9. Okay?
You know what? That's more than I thought. I thought he was going to get 6.
Just wait.
Holy fuck.
So,
Would he get like half of that good behavior cut off?
So you think that that's bad. It keeps going. The judge decided to knock off 2 years from his sentence because he spent 2 years in police custody waiting for his trial. But he didn't just knock off 2 years. He gave him a double credit. So he got double knocked off. So he got 4 years knocked off of a 9-year sentence. He had 9 years. And he got 4 years knocked off. Like, why?
So pretty much what I said, 6,
5.
which is 5. So one less than what I thought, yeah.
He served his 5 years, and after that, he was released to a halfway house to help ease the transition back into society. Many halfway houses will have a nighttime curfew, right? Well, one night, Patel didn't return, so this immediately put out a warrant for his arrest. It was believed that he was trying to pick up more sex workers, and this would be going against his terms of release. When they found him, he returned to prison, but within the same year, he was released again. Yep.
Oh my God.
This
Okay.
back and forth prison society continues. Okay. He cannot be trusted. He had not proven to be rehabilitated or even attempting to try to be a not shitty person. He continued to commit all types of crimes and random shit. Even at one point, robbing a bank at gunpoint. Okay, cool. But that's not the worst. So.
He's cash. Got to go pick up some more prostitutes.
It got worse than that. The
Okay,
absolute
Canada, keep
worst
going.
thing he did. He drugged two different ones. 2 13-year-old girls with meth, and then he R-worded
No.
them. One of them.
No.
Sorry.
How?
Not both of them. One of them. Not that makes it any better. This.
No,
Yeah.
they're underage. How the?
Okay, but this continued
Okay. Yeah.
with the same young girl for years and years and years. He would get caught, serve time, get released, hit up the same young girl, drug her, rape her over and over and over again, which is so heartbreaking for that poor girl.
Okay, so-
just she was just continuously let down by the system.
So was this girl? She was in the halfway house too, or what was she like?
No,
she part of
she
the
was
system. He just knew where she
found
was.
her. He's out roaming the streets, found these 2 13-year-olds one day, drugged them and raped them. And then every time he got out,
Kept
clear
finding-
there's some type of disconnect, or I don't
Wonder if there's
I don't
some sort
fully
of
know, maybe.
trauma bond or something.
They don't go into it
Yeah.
obviously because at the time they were 13.
She's a minor. You can't find a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff when it comes to that.
So finally in 2018, this man would be classified as a dangerous offender, but that didn't stop him.
I'm sorry. It took from 2003
To
to 2018 for Canada to say maybe you are a
Yeah.
dangerous offender. Maybe. Even though you killed someone
Yep.
originally.
He's classed as
Canada.
a dangerous offender, but this didn't stop him from being released. That just meant that when he would just have more eyes on him.
No, there
No.
isn't. No,
No.
there isn't.
And then
There's not enough eyes
No,
on these
not at
people.
all.
They just gotta stay.
It's fucked. So then in 2020, he tried to appeal these terms, and thankfully he was denied. But at this point, he's still in and out of jail. He's not permanently, he doesn't have any big charges, because his only big charge that he has is this murder that he got
Manslaughter.
5 years for, because he got so many knocked off. But at this point, in 2020, that is when the court documents started to state that Patel was now using the she, her pronouns. This is kind of where it ends off. I couldn't find anything past 2020 on her. But this is very interesting because you can see the mental health behind it. You can see the trauma that Patel, she might have had at this point. It's interesting. You killed Shelby for being transgender, but you also are is that because you were jealous? Is it some type of internal transphobia, gender dysmorphia? Maybe didn't quite understand what she was feeling. There's just so many questions about it. But now you can kind of see,
yes, that sounds like a lot.
the trauma and the mental health around the entire thing. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I apologize. I told you it was
what a
going to
story.
fucking suck. And it fucking sucked.
That was a roller coaster.
It was hard.
That's so.
And just when
that-
you think it's going to start to get better, it's locked up. Perfect. Just kidding.
It's just kept getting worse and worse. And I'm wondering, like you said, the whole mental health portion of it is am wondering if that's why Patel killed Shelby, is because they were so confused themselves that they didn't know how to. Obviously, this is not an excuse for whatever happened, but it's like when we went to the psychology serial killers and how she explained. It's just how you're treated and how you were raised and how that comes out later.
Well, all behavior is learned behavior.
And your motive.
You aren't born hating someone. So you clearly are taught to hate somebody.
No. Right. So I'm guessing that's the environment he lived in, which means he couldn't be who he wanted to be. He couldn't express those emotions. And if he tried to, I'm sure he had repercussions. So for him, it could have been like I'm not allowed to be that, so you can't be that. Yeah. Could have been a switch. I don't know. But it still doesn't justify it. Doesn't justify anything.
But yeah. Thanks for listening. That was the horrid, devastating case of Shelby Tracy Tom's murder.
And so sad because she had such a life planned for her and how she wanted to help other people. She wanted to go back to become a social worker and let people express who they are and guide them correctly. And that's so sad. Where hopefully you stayed and hopefully you listened. We're going to be putting out the monthly Sunday Scaries. So that'll be coming up next.
Exactly. So make sure you go check that out. And then, make sure you're checking out all of our socials and keeping up to date with whatever we're posting on Instagram. Make sure you check out our merch. That's still up.
Make sure you follow us, like us. Please leave us a review. Please leave us. We need feedback. I like feedback. Even if you just say, bitch, you're annoying. I'm cool with that. You know what? Be mean. I don't care. Say whatever you like. Just write something. Write something. Please don't be mean.
Please don't be mean. I'm actually going to cry.
But, no, don't make me cry.
But thank you for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed. And we hope you keep it real, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. We want to hear from our listeners, so please reach out to thickthighscreepyvibes@gmail.com.
Or on our Instagram @TTCV Podcast to send us your episode recommendations.
And along with your encounters or creepy stories, so you can be featured on one of our Sunday Scary episodes.
Listen along on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and Audible.
Thanks for listening.